Top of this abbreviated SportsMax zone for a Thursday. For many of our viewers who may be unfamiliar with the terms pari-mutuel and fixed odds wagering in horse racing, for the average horse racing punter, though, they may have been exposed to the pari-mutuel wagering process. To explain this process in a simple way, it refers to a person wagering on a horse without knowing the final odds or their potential earnings until the race is officially off to a start. On the other hand, fixed odds betting simply refers to whenever a punter places a wager, it locks in a payout price on the horse in question. This remains consistent whether the wager is placed 2 weeks or even just 2 minutes before post time. Dallas Baker is the head of international operations at the Australia-based BetMakers technology group. His company recently signed a 5-year deal with Supreme Ventures Racing, the promoters of horse racing in Jamaica. Dallas, we see you often at Caymanas Park, but for the very first time, we welcome you to the SportsMax Zone. Great to have you on.
Thank you very much, Lance, Mariah. Great, thank you for having us. Been very welcomed at Caymanas Park, been very welcomed in Jamaica. So for a humble man from Australia, it is very humbling to be how great this country is.
I must tell you, I'm a fan of Australia's cricket team. So
there you go. There you go. Well, they're struggling in India. I was just seeing some of the highlights there before we came in. So
even the women,
Yeah, the women are going well.
The women are a top team.
The women are showing the men up at the moment, that's for sure.
All right, Dana, so you're here to talk about, you've been in Jamaica like 4 months now, not consistently, but introducing this fixed odds, which is new to Caymanas horse racing. And new, I gather, to this hemisphere, because in the USA, fixed odds isn't something that is traditional, but you've started it here. There and here. What are the benefits of fixed odds?
Well, the benefits, I think, it depends on what way you look to it. There's benefits that can stream into the industry. But the first benefit is to the customer, which is the punter. So by having a fixed odds market, you are introducing a different bet type and it's providing customer segmentation. The tote has a place, fixed odds has a place, and then exchange betting has a place. The reason that you want the wagering model to be as robust and accessible is that essentially that's what funds racing. And a lot of people in the US have forgotten what actually funds racing because they're attached to casinos and handouts from other people. And the chickens are coming.
Right now, some racing complexes in the USA and Canada can't function without a casino.
That's exactly right.
They'll go bankrupt.
And that isn't going to be there forever. What is fantastic about Jamaica is that the great team at Caymanas Park know how to promote racing. They promote racing first. And that's where the benefits for fixed odds can come via having a better marketplace for people to access and also then a model that then goes back into reinvesting into the industry, which is critical with it. I mean, the industry, horse racing isn't cheap to run, and the more you put back into it, though, the more you get out of it. So hopefully this is the start of a really good extra revenue stream for the racetrack, and we'll see what happens in the next few years as it comes in and to fruition. But to answer your question, the main benefit is what it provides the customer, which is the punter. And with all due respect to the pari-mutuel system, and we own one of the major totes in the US, so we are very much pari-mutuel. But pari-mutuel is something it's very hard for a younger person to get their head around. Trying to explain to somebody they backed a horse at $6 that goes off at $3 on the post, and I had my $1,000 on it, why aren't I getting $6,000? Why am I getting $3,000? It's not. And that happens a lot. And it's not a really good way to try to get somebody into the game. Now, we all know the reasons why it happens. You know, it's just it's a pool, it's liquid, and things happen like that. But I think that's the main benefit, is to be able to attract it to a younger audience. And we've seen that in the US and the UK, that by opening up the fixed odds world and making it deregulating it and making it more public, especially in Australia, that it's now that wagering on racing is becoming the number one growth in the wagering market.
Right, and what has the initial period been like in Jamaica?
Oh, it's been phenomenal, Mariah. It really has. Like, I remember my first day at Caymanas, which was first week in November or thereabouts, and you just hear this bang, bang, bang. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? The race has just started, and then I realised that that's what happens every race. It is just so good. Like, so in the US, we have had the challenges of coming in with something different. Something different's always, seen with scepticism or whatever. But here in Jamaica, the questions I get asked about it is, where do I bet? How can I bet? how much can I bet, and when do you open the betting? It's simple as that. And so the runway in the US, which has probably taken 12 months, took 12 minutes here. Yeah. So the success was pretty much instant. We're only on course at Caymanas at the moment, but obviously with plans to expand on that pretty soon too. But for where we are at the moment, it's just been a phenomenal success. It really is. And through the great team at Caymanas, our great team, which a couple of them are behind the glass wall over there, you can't do that without the enthusiasm that is in Jamaica for racing, and that is the number one reason why we're able to exist in the way that we are.
So do you plan to expand where fixed odds are concerned? Will we be able to access it online, at shops? Are you thinking bigger?
Yes, and yes. So yeah, definitely coming out to shops. So online, on the online piece first. We're internally at BetMakers. Probably next week it should be ready to be sent out to Supreme Ventures to do their internal testing on it, and then to the BGLC. So hopefully, if we can have our act together and have it released to Supreme Ventures, then we're probably looking at about a month turnaround or thereabouts. Obviously, when you get into regulator world, the regulators have to do their thing, and you're always respectful of the time and the processes they take. So it is hard to often estimate the time from a regulator, but that train is well and truly moving, and the good thing is the site from our end is pretty much done. Yeah. So it's now just part of the processes, and definitely to the shops. We've got the flagship shops, the Supreme Venture flagship shops, look like being the first rollout, and then we've got I think it's 30 brand new state of the art teller machines on the way here to go out to the OTB network as well too. So they're due to land in Jamaica. I think it's the first week of April or thereabouts. So once they land, they'll start being.
You're staying here.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. We're here, big plans, and not just Caymanas. There'll be content from all around the world. So you'll be able to bet on US racing, Australian racing, hopefully UK racing as well too.
Two quick questions. BetMakers had partnered with Supreme Ventures as a sponsor of some of the major races, which came before the fixed odds development. Was that a part of the agreement?
Yeah, that was part of the original agreement. Yeah, I mean, look, we as a company, we're very much racing first. Yeah. Everybody, just about everybody in our executive team, on our boards, have been really really core racing people all their lives, and we've sort of come together from the different parts that we were doing. So number one first is racing, and we see the importance of reinvesting, and whether that's through sponsorship or whether it's through other projects. And I know Solomon has got huge plans for Caymanas. We want to be part of all of that, because as I said at the start, the more you put back into racing, the more it gives you back. We love putting it into racing because we care about racing as well too. But from a business point of view, it's also a very sensible decision, and we saw that in Australia, how the modelling for the fixed odds system worked there, and how racing in about a 15-year period has just gone from barely surviving to knocking it out of the park thriving.
Yeah, I remember seeing you early December at the Mute Mile, which the fixed odds had been implemented before the Mute Mile, which is the richest race in the English-speaking Caribbean at the moment. But we have a chart, Dallas, for you to explain to me the benefits, and to our viewers, and Mariah, the benefits of fixed odds, because fixed odds is something that is customary with betting people in other sports.
Oh, absolutely.
Certainly in Jamaica, when people are betting the football results and so on, it is fixed odds that they go by. So it's not completely new from a betting perspective. For horse racing, it is.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that there's a lot of numbers there that I'll explain through. So what we've got on the screen there is the opening price, which means that's the price that we started betting at when we opened the windows at 90 minutes before the first race. The best price is the best price we laid that horse at, so that's whoever shopped the best and got that best price. The average odds is probably the one that's fairest to look at, which is the average odds we bet, and the closing price is where the price ended up when the gates opened up. And then the price next to it is the tote comparison, as you can see. These are a pretty good set of numbers from the weekend, actually, so I've used the right source for it. But what we normally find, I mean, if you just use the two columns at the end, the closing price versus the tote price, we find that over the journey, that is about 70% of the time the fixed odds price is going to be better. So what does that mean for the consumer? That you've got the choice of both the tote and the fixed odds. You can try and pick the best one, but also then reading how the market works is critical, because you can see there in the spread the difference between some of the best odds and the average odds or the opening price. The market moves around, and there's
Levante, the 6th race winner, was 14 best, but 850 it opened up.
Yeah, that's right, exactly right. And then you'll see other ones that open up longer prices and then crunch in late. So this is one of the great things about fixed odds is it's not tote betting. In some ways is nowhere near as exciting as fixed odds betting, because whether you back a horse on the tote 100 minutes before the race, 100 seconds or 1 second, it doesn't matter. You're getting the price that it ends up. Whereas fixed odds, the challenge is to try to find the best price during the battle, and then you get the race as well too. So it's a race within the race as well. And you know, obviously my experience at Caymanas Park only goes back to November, but you just see, and even when with our stuff at Monmouth Park, you see it creates a new spark, because there's something else going on rather than just in between races watching races from simulcast in. Then because there's something really happening, there's a live marketplace, and you know, and you're talking about money, and like the amount of people that look and go, oh, it was $6.50 or $6 now, you're robbing me, you know, like, no, it's the market moving. But that becomes the excitement of it, and that's also great to see people at Caymanas Park getting into the battle of trying to find the best price. Is it lining up at the windows half an hour before they open to get that early price, which many people do, or is it then waiting till the death, because the percentages actually get more in the punter's favour the closer you get to the race. The marketplace develops, so we can be more aggressive with our pricing as you get close to the race. So in theory, the price closest to the race should be the best price. But if you've been able to take 20 to 1 about a horse that's firmed into 5 to 1, percentages don't matter. You got your 20 to 1. So that becomes the battle of working out what the best play is.
Yeah, quickly, we're going to wrap the segment now, but I'd want to reference something you spoke of earlier on about the behaviour of the Jamaican horse racing fans and how noisy they are, slamming on the furniture and so on in the stands.
So cool.
Are you suggesting that this doesn't happen anywhere else that you've been to? At Monmouth Park in Australia and so on?
Well, there's a couple of Jamaicans at Monmouth Park who do the same thing, and I'm told there's a good team in Aqueduct that do the same thing. Yeah, right. But look, in Australia we know how to cheer at home, but not from the gates opening. And the worst thing that happens in Jamaica is that backing a winner, because the rubbish bins go over, the banging starts, the chairs go in the air. That's what happens in Australia if there's a bad beat or an awful ride. Yes. But it's sort of the opposite. It's like that's joyous. But it is so cool. We've got Supreme Beaches has got a guest from RCN, Roberts, who's the main US video distributor, and Dan Silver, and I've been telling him about this, and I can't wait till he's down in the ruck, seeing it for the first time and hearing the bang, bang, bang and everything. It's awesome.
There's a quick story on that. There was an outstanding Jamaican jockey, Emilio Rodriguez, who is retired now. When he started riding at Belmont and Aqueduct in New York, the New York Racing Association wanted him to leave because he was winning races, and the Jamaicans were destroying the place.
Yeah, exactly right.
They were destroying the place. So they actually weren't happy when Rodriguez was riding. Whenever he won, things got a bit chaotic.
No, it's awesome. But I mean, that really, it's just to see that passion for racing. And I think racing has been sanitised a lot around the world, and it was revigorated in Australia. Like, I remember I've been going to the races since I was 1 year old. And we got to this stage where it had dwindled down. And you because it was just such a slow drip, you'd have 20,000 people at the racecourse. Next year, 19, 17, 16. And you don't really realise it. Then you get around 12 years later and you go, what the hell happened here? But then it was reinvigorated, and now it's a buzz. And that excitement is where you can really level off and have a project like this be so successful.
Okay, well, Dallas, we've got to leave it there. Mariah will be betting at Caymanas Park on Saturday on some of those fixed odds. Yes. I'll guide her as to which horses to bet.
Good work.
Okay, great.
Teamwork.
Back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.